Greetings and welcome to 4 Oak Cliff GED Orientation. I am Dr. Jennifer Hills, the Director of Education, and I'll be guiding this GED orientation for today. There are 4 things that we are going to focus on during this brief orientation. The first thing is all about 4 Oak Cliff and learning about how 4 Oak Cliff helps the community. The second thing is our GED program and Dallas colleges. Our third thing we'll see is who are our teachers, and the fourth thing will be a simple math class. About 4 Oak Cliff. 4 Oak Cliff is a culturally responsive organization serving the South Oak Cliff community. Education, advocacy, community building are categories we use to develop various programs with our community. 4 Oak Cliff believes in dual gen or 2 gen, so we focus on creating opportunities for and addressing the needs of both children and the adults in their lives together, with the aim of increasing social mobility and social capital. Here's a quote from a recent GED graduate. I love how the program is self-paced, and the instructors are always there when you need them. They will be there to help you get through the program, no matter what. We have a QR code here that I would like for you to scan if you're able to, and fill out a brief survey before you get started in our GED program. If you're unable to scan the QR code, do not worry. The link will be added to the description below. So let's move on to our GED program and learn more about how our GED program works. There are 3 phases of our GED program. The pre-GED phase, which gauges your academic level, the GED readiness phase, which gauges how close you are to passing the GED test, and the GED ready, which is the phase where you schedule to take the official exam. In pre-GED, you will have online classes and meet in a virtual environment via Zoom. There'll also be online classwork for you to complete on edmodo.com, and we'll be looking at that shortly. You'll be exposed to practice tests via MyGED.com and be responsible for taking a couple of practice tests in order to gauge how close you are to passing the GED. This will be done after completing the Edmodo work that you'll be responsible for. Once you complete these 3 things, you move on to the GED readiness phase. In the GED readiness phase, you'll still have virtual classes, but you'll also have one-on-one sessions where you can get individualized help that will push you to understand and gain skills in GED readiness. And then you'll be asked or expected to pass a practice test with a 150 or higher in order to move into the GED ready phase. In GED Ready, you continue your one-on-one sessions, but you're also able to schedule in-person sessions and schedule private sessions to help push you to completion. You also get a GED mentor to help provide additional support to get you through. Practice tests will be accessible to you whenever you need. We can also register you for Dallas colleges to receive additional support as well as access to their online GED platform called GED Academy. Finally, take the test. Register to schedule your official subject exam and pass the test. There are 4 official subject exams: reading language arts, math, science, and social studies. Reading language arts is comprised of a multiple choice and essay writing section. Math is comprised of a section where you can use a calculator and a section where you will not be able to use a calculator. Science includes math and reading skills, and so does social studies. So you'll see us combining a lot of subjects together in order to work cross-curriculum and not make you feel like you're working on 4 different subjects at once. For Oak Cliff covers 100% of your GED tuition as long as you are clocking study hours, meeting with your instructor, and staying active for at least 3 to 6 hours per week. So what are your next steps? The first thing you need to do is register for MyGED.com. Once again, this is where you're going to be practicing on the practice test and scheduling the official test to take. You also need to register for 4 Oak Cliff. Register as a member to 4 Oak Cliff to receive member benefits such as getting a stipend for your GED. Finally, start completing assignments. Log into edmodo.com and start completing those assignments. Let me introduce you to your instructors. Hello, I'm Dr. Jennifer Hills, your main instructor during the pre-GED, GED readiness, and GED ready phases. I'll be working with you on math, reading, science, and social studies. And no, this is not me in the picture. I wonder if that's what you were thinking. Hopefully you were not. That is not me at all. But I will be helping you. Professor Crystal Hills will be your math enrichment coach, and Professor Unisha Wells will be your science enrichment coach during the GED readiness phase and GED ready phases. Some additional resources. You can get access to IXL.com and Khan Academy for additional practice. The GED course will use IXL.com and Khan Academy to further instructional practices. Once you log into Edmodo, you'll get the resources you need in order to get into IXL.com as well as Khan Academy. So let's take a look at Edmodo, and then we'll take a look at MyGED. All right, so as you see here on Edmodo, I have planted on the page the schedule for the week. So each Sunday, I post the schedule of the week, and it varies based off of different weeks. So this week, all classes will be on Thursday. We'll have a class with reading in science and social studies at 11:30, and a class with math in science and social studies at 2 o'clock. So you're getting science, social studies in both subjects, but on this subject here, it's going to be from the lens of reading, and then in the afternoon, it's going to be from the lens of mathematics. So let's look at Edmodo. Edmodo kind of reminds me of social media, but for school. We'll have a live stream here where you're able to see a variety of things that I have posted. Here is where we have a student where I have asked a question for the students to respond to. And I have a student who says that she wants to find out how to do more social studies, but she doesn't like it because of the misleading information. So I replied at her asking her, what kind of social studies would you like to study? And she says she wants to learn more about Black history. So I'll be able to give her some Black history to study her social studies from so that it's relevant to her, and it makes her more wanting to study for her exam. All right. Also, if you're looking for upcoming assignments, they're going to be listed here. Once you get onto here, they will not be late or due. They should be exactly on schedule for you to take. And all you have to do is click take the quiz. Now, of course, this is late for me, so it might say the assignment is locked and I have to request access from the teacher because the due date is passed. So be mindful of your due dates to make sure that you're really getting your work done, because what I want in your pre-GED class is for you to complete and move on to GED readiness. There's no need for you to stay in here more than 2 to 3 weeks if we're trying to get you complete before 2020 ends. All right, so if you have a goal to graduate before 2020 ends, work through these assignments and get done. If you do not understand the assignments, be sure to stop by the virtual classroom or check out any videos that I may be posting along with the assignment. So once you get into like GED readiness, for example, if we went to the triangles lesson that they're working on, or for you, you'll be working on the circles lesson. So let's look at the circles lesson. Here we have the lesson where you can find the diameter. And if I click this, this is going to be a video of me going over this assignment. And then here is the actual assignment that you're going to be working on. So all you have to do is click these two and submit via Edmodo. Let me click it open. So here is my video.
Greetings and welcome to this brief lesson on finding the diameter or radius when the circumference or area is given.
So after I watch that, then I can click this to do the actual assignment. And there's a variety of ways I can turn in this PDF. Now, of course, it's a PDF, so I can print it if I have a printer at home. But I don't have a printer at home, so I cannot print it. But what I can do is create a text response where I can do number 1 and my answers. Or I can create a Word document and put my answers in, or an Excel worksheet and put my answers in. So be very creative with how you can do it, and we are very flexible with how you can do it. And then you just turn in your assignment. Make sure you press turn in, or you can resubmit if you feel like you did it wrong before the teacher grades it. Okay? So that is how you do an assignment in Edmodo. Of course, the phone is going to look a little bit different. I recommend downloading the Edmodo app. This menu here will be at the bottom of the phone, but you can click your planner to see any assignments that are due or upcoming. You can click your backpack to see if you have any other assignments that I've placed in here for you to study. Like the one lady who wanted to do Black History, I might just place her assignments in her backpack instead of pasting them on the entire class. You can go to Discover to see other apps that you can use to further study or use your skills, like playing Fire Words, which helps you build your vocabulary. Which word is similar to gather? Which word is similar to gather? And you choose your answer, and it tells you if you're right or wrong, and you continue through different levels. So Edmodo is very engaging when it comes to work for me and getting into the Google Classroom. All right. Let's also hop over to MyGED.com and take a look at that website. All right, so we're here at MyGED.com. One thing that I want to remind you of is when you're signing up for MyGED.com, it's important that you say, when it asks you if you're looking for a GED class, say no, because you're already registered in our GED class. Because what this is going to do is pull up a list of GED classes that are available, and we're not on that list. So, excuse me, I just yawned. So, we're not on that list. Make sure that you say no because you're already registered in our GED course, and we go through MyGED so that you can get your official Texas high school equivalency degree. All right, so we're going to click Study. And the first ways that you can study on your GED is the practice. This is what I was talking about taking that official practice test. So here we can see they cost $6 per subject, but you don't have to pay that. You just let me know you're ready to take a practice test, and I will give you a voucher code where you can click Redeem Now and actually put in the voucher code, which takes away the cost. Once you finish that practice test, MyGED will score you based off of if you were to take the actual exam. So here I've scored a 113, and it says not likely to pass. I'm not going to be too discouraged because I know that I can look here and see how close I was to passing. 145 is passing. And then I'm able to link a textbook, or my teacher is able to link a textbook and give me the exact pages I need to study in order to do better on the next practice test. So normally after you take your practice test, I take a look at these things and assign you different exercises to help you work on the things you have missed. Another way to practice on MyGED is to go to preview the test. When you preview the test, you have 4 subjects here, and it gives you a fourth of the length of the actual test. So I'm going to click Language Arts. It's going to take me to this nice generated page here that looks just like the test. Clicking Next. You make sure you can see what I see. You should be able to see it now. So this is the generated text here, where you have a variety of pages here at the top that you will need to read in order to answer the questions here. But the beauty of this one is once you put the answer in, you're able to click Answer Explanation here at the top, and it'll let you know if you got the answer correct and why it's correct. Then you just move on to the next one and make sure you choose your answer here. After reading the pages, go to Answer Explanation, and once again, it'll tell you if you're correct and why, or if you got it incorrect, it'll tell you why the answer is incorrect. So MyGED or GED Ready is a MyGED.com is a great resource to use when you're wanting to practice. All right, so what we're going to do now, we've looked at Edmodo, and we've looked at our, you know what, I don't think it still showed. Let me make sure you guys can see this. Here we go again. So this is what I was talking about. This is the actual reading here. And then here's where I've placed my answer. And then if I click Answer Explanation, there it is right there. All right, so hopefully everybody was able to see that. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is move on. We're going to go back to our presentation and take a look at a simple math class. Our simple math class will not be that long, so do not fret. It will be less than 10 minutes. You're definitely going to need paper and pencil while practicing, and this is going to get you started for your pre-GED class. If you do not take this simple math class when you go to pre-GED, you're going to be confused because you did not do this in orientation. So make sure you gather your pencil and paper. I'm going to share my Zoom screen with you. Zoom is what we're going to be using when we're actually in the actual classroom. So with that, I just shared it. You should be seeing my Zoom screen. All right, and we're going to get started working on level 1 circles. Level 1 circles. If you need to pause, go ahead and do so now to get your paper and pencil. Otherwise, for the sake of time, I'm going to go ahead and get started. All right, so here I have a circle. With your circle, you have a line that goes from one end of the circle to the other end of the circle, and that line is called your diameter. Diameter. It's a D, diameter. There's another line that's in this circle, and it is half of the diameter. Here it is. Here, from here, goes from half of the circle to the other end of the circle, and that is going to be called your radius. The radius is half of the diameter, which can be written like this, half of the diameter, or D over 2. And your radius is, your diameter is 2r, or the radius times 2, because it takes the radius twice to equal the diameter. Here we have 2 radius and 1 diameter. So with that being said, if the diameter is 10, what is the radius? What is half of 10? Half of 10 is 5. Okay? Let's try that again. If the diameter is 12, what is the radius? The radius is 6. All right, let's look at that again. Let's look at it backwards. If the radius is 11, what is the diameter? The diameter is 22, because 22 is 11 doubled, and 11 is half of 22. If the radius is 12, what is the diameter? The diameter is 24. That should be pretty easy for you there. Diameter and radius should come pretty easy. Just remember, diameter is the longest line, and the radius is half of the diameter. All right, let's move to level 2 of radius and diameter, and that is looking at circumference. The circumference equals pi times the diameter. Pi times the diameter. So if we have a circle with a diameter of 10, we just have to multiply pi times the diameter to get the answer. But let's see if we can remember, what does pi equal? Pi equals 3 and 1400ths, or 3.14. It's actually a longer number, but we round it off to 3.14. So we need to multiply 3.14, or 3 and 1400ths, times 10. When we multiply those together, we get 31 and 4/10, or 31.4, and that's what our circumference equals. It's literally that easy. Just follow the formula. Let's run another one. All right, here we have a circle with a radius of 7.5, and we have to find the circumference. Now, we don't have the diameter, we have the radius. So how do we find the diameter? Well, we can add 7.5 plus 7.5, or we can do 7.5 times 2, which gives us 15. So our diameter is 15. Now that we know the diameter, we can plug and chug. 3 and 1400ths times 15. When we multiply that together, we get 47 and 1/10, or 47.1. So you can review these multiple times in order to understand how to use the formula C equals pi times the diameter to find the circumference. Hopefully you are understanding. All right, now we're going to move to area. Area equals pi times the radius squared. It's a little trickier because we have to square the radius. So here we're going to be introduced to squaring numbers. Here is our circle. And we have a radius of 5. Well, area equals pi times the radius squared. So the first thing I want to do is find out what is the radius squared. So what is 5 times 5, or 5 squared, which is 5 times 5? That's going to be 25. So now I know that the radius squared equals 25. So now all I have to do is multiply pi times 25. And of course, we know pi is 3 and 1400ths times 25. That is going to give us 78 and 5/10. So the area is 78.5. All right, let's run that again. Here we go. Clearing the screen. Hopefully you have it all. Rewind if you do not. Remember the formula. Area equals pi r squared. This time we have a circle, and they give us a diameter of 12. So the first thing we have to do is find the radius. Well, I know that half of 12 is 6. Now we have to square the radius. 6 times 6, or 6 squared, equals 36. 3.14, which is pi, times 36 equals, just use my calculator. You can use your when you're doing this one. We get an area of 113 and 4/10. And that's how you find the area. So all you really have to do is follow the formulas. If you follow the formula of circumference equals pi times d, or area equals pi r squared, you should be able to get to the answer. Don't worry if you feel like this is confusing or you're like, what? When you join us for math class, this is what we'll be starting to work on. I love starting with circles because we can work on square numbers, we can work on formulas, we can work on division, addition, and subtraction, all by working with circles. And then after circles, we move to triangles. So I look forward to you joining our Edmodo class. Before you leave, I do want you to take down my email address, because you will need to email me to let me know that you have completed the orientation and you need the email for the next steps. So you can email me at jennifer.hills@fouroakcliff.org. All right, go ahead and send me that email to let me know you've completed our orientation and you're ready to take the next step to complete your GED. I look forward to working with you soon. Peace and many blessings to you on your journey. Thank you.